Why is that? Why do you think younger kids have so much debt? Do you think it's just a feeling of recklessness, or do you think it's just financial imprudence that you have this card? And you know how easy it is to get these credit cards. As the companies call you up, they're more than willing to give you a card or two cards or three cards, depending on what your need is. And then you have all of these kids getting into debt. Talk to us about why these people see themselves with so much debt.
I think it's also to do with the generation. This is the generation which we are talking about who haven't really seen any kind of challenge or struggles in their life.
Right.
I remember my dad talking about times when they had going very tough and saving money, and we listening to the same bit and drawing on from them. But I think this new generation which has come up have seen it an easy kind of a life. So they do not understand the importance of money. That's first. The second point which you made, which is very vital, is ease of getting a credit card.
Right.
So today, forget about one, you get two, three. Banks are competing with each other, and few banks have a criteria. If you have credit card of this bank, I'll give it for you free. If you have an MBA from this institute, I'll give it for free.
Right.
If you're a doctor from that institute, I'll give it for free. So it comes as a freebie, and before somebody explains you, how to deal with this responsibly, you're already in debt.
Right.
You're already in debt, and it's a vicious circle. I know of clients who have come to us who've used one credit card to repay the debt of an earlier credit card, and it's a vicious circle.
People often think that credit cards are like a license to overspend, you know. What would you say about that? That I have this card, now I can spend, and like you said, use one card to pay off the debt of another card. What would you tell? How would you caution people about this against overspending?
I think first and foremost perspective which people need to understand is saving is an essential part at a family level,
Right.
at a country level.
Right.
And that's what will really do well for you over a period of time. And if you can get that discipline going, I think you can manage credit card. Saving principle, as I mentioned earlier, income minus expenses. Now, some of your expenses you can use credit card to pay till the time expenses are less than income.
Right. Okay. So you're not completely against credit cards. What you're trying to say is you have to be judicious about the use of your credit cards. If someone does want to get a credit card, Sumit, at this point, what would you tell them? How do you use it and not abuse your credit cards?
Okay, let's kind of refine that statement of yours. I'm not saying that I'm not against credit cards. I'm saying I'm not against cards, because cards can be a debit card. That's much more doable, much more acceptable. Credit card somewhere still requires humongous amount of discipline and self-restraint, which you usually don't see, people having it kind of a thing itself.
Right.
So I will still continue to say credit card is completely avoidable.
It's completely avoidable.
That's right.
There's, unlike in some other countries where you actually need a credit history, it's completely okay for people like you and me. We can make do with a debit card. But I want to make the point that, for people who are still interested in getting credit cards, therefore we want to tell you, if you want to get a credit card, if you do have a credit card at this point, it's important that you know what you're getting yourself into. Number one, read the terms and conditions carefully, know what you're getting yourself into. The second thing is keep a reminder on your phone for payments. Sumit, what would you tell people? I mean, a lot of people already have those cards. How do you think that they should keep track of all their payments? Any ideas that you have in particular about this?
Yes, I have one and one only ideas to that. Slightly cliched, but I'll tell all those families to have a financial planner first of all.
To have a financial planner.
Yeah, because what that financial planner is going to do is try and keep you on a check.
Keep you on a check, okay.
And that's very, very important, because once your family financial plan is made and somebody is tracking it on a month-on-month basis, on a regular basis, you know where you're going off track. And if you go off track, somebody is there to help you to get on track.
Right.
Before you get into a vicious circle, it's a very bad thing to get into.
Right, it's a very bad thing to get into, but like we said, we're trying to also give you some other ideas. One of them was, keep tabs, get yourself a financial planner. The other thing is have a direct debit from your bank account. So if you do have to make those payments, it goes out a certain amount of money every month on a certain date, so you don't fall behind on your payments. And please pay the full amount immediately. You don't want to talk to us about those interest payments. We know that those can be deadly for people who have.
And that again brings us to one more point. And as soon as we say that pay the full amount before you do revolve to the next month, if you are getting into that habit, technically you don't need a credit card.
That's true.
Technically you don't. And coming back to the charges, it's like a big menace. I think average charges for credit card rate should range from 2 to 3.5%, if I'm not wrong.
Right.
And let's even assume 2.5% over 12 months, you're paying more than 30% interest plus expenses. Many a case it becomes 40%. So what kind of expense are you incurring which is going to charge you at 40% rate of interest? I think that's completely criminal, not called for, and avoidable.
Okay, so that's avoidable. So Sumit feeling very strongly about those credit cards. Now let's just slip into a short break right now. We've told you what you should do, whether you need a card or you don't need a card, and some ideas on how you should be dealing with those payments. But after this, we'll talk a little bit more about some bad credit habits and what you can do to avoid them. That's coming up in a bit.